Welcome to Planet Marzipan Podcast,
your fish and Marillion podcast,
where we talk about all things in the planet of Marillion and fish. I'm Mezza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston.
Hello, welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Mezza. I'm here with my good friend.
Should Faye come back for this one, do you think? Barnes, it's up to you.
Definitely, she's here.
Faye Houston, come on down. It's another one of our Chatting the Single mini pods, and we're here to talk about sugar mice. And we welcome back Mikey Kay.
Howdy, hi.
Andrew Barnsley Wood.
Hello.
And Martin Jakubski.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Starting with, as usual, Wikipedia. Sugar Mice is a song by British neo-prog band Marillion. It was released as the second single from their fourth studio album, Clutching at Straws. The single was released on the 13th of July 1987, and it peaked at number 22 in the UK singles chart, becoming the band's 8th top 30 hit in a row. Outside the UK, it charted in the Netherlands and West Germany. We've touched upon Sugar Mice in a previous Incommunicado episode, but by the time this came out, the album had been out for about a month or so. So any sort of memories of the lead up to Sugar Mice?
I don't remember
before my time, but I remember Ralph bought the 12-inch single of this when it came out.
Yeah.
So I did hear that and the 12-inch version and Tucson around about that time.
I remember buying this single because I know we'll talk about the formats probably in a bit, but the 7-inch single had a poster with it, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
the picture version. Yeah,
picture version with the that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, and I bought that, and I bought the 12-inch, and that was it at the time. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I definitely bought the picture disc, but whether I bought it at the time or not, I don't remember. It might have been a few months after or a few weeks after it came out.
Yeah.
Don't weirdly remember it being in the charts. It obviously didn't stay up very long.
Didn't do so well.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I knew
it actually stayed in the charts for exactly the same amount of weeks in total, because Incommunicado stayed in the charts a total of 7 weeks in the top 100. And this stayed in the charts for 7 weeks in the top 100 as well. Didn't do as well, but the amount of weeks was exactly the same. And funnily enough, it's actually the same for Warm Wet Circles. That stayed in the charts for 7 weeks, even though the chart positions weren't as good.
Well, I'm going to go back to Wikipedia because this might be one of the reasons why it didn't do so well. A number of formats were available: 7-inch picture disc with a poster, as we've said, 12-inch single, 12-inch picture disc. 3,000 copies of a 5-inch CD single were produced that were exclusively sold at concerts.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't actually know that.
Conversation that I'd had with Craig a long time ago, and I'd forgotten. But obviously, there's a huge chunk of sales that aren't going towards chart return, which is a bit of a shame. And it's a really nice CD single. But should we flip this around and talk about the sleeve on this one?
Yeah.
Why is Steve Robarth on the front?
I remember this sleeve a lot because I copied it onto my art folder when I was doing my A-level art. I did that, and when we get to the next one as well with the cocktail glass, that is also on my art folder from 1987. Well, it's not anymore, but at the time it was on my art folder.
There you go,
yeah. I sort of decided I'm going to become an artist and get into doing sort of airbrush things, but obviously when I was doing the A-levels, that's just had the crayons and things, but there you go.
They were just fleeting though, weren't they?
One day I'll get around to doing it.
Sorry, Barnes.
Yeah. Am I kind of right in thinking that some of the idea, like the original idea for the Clutching at Straws album cover, had to do with the glass?
It was originally, he wanted it to be the cocktail glass with the world on the cocktail stick, but I think he was outvoted, wasn't he?
Yeah. So the imagery was reused for this single, really.
I think it's a much better sleeve. It's a much stronger cover.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really like it. Really like it. It's very striking.
Yeah, it does certainly ties in better with the back catalogue.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
one thing
that's-
that's
yeah.
you can say that's noticeable, and I don't know if you've really noticed it though. The new style Marillion lettering, the updated version of it that's
Yeah.
used on Clutching at Straws, didn't appear on the Incommunicado single. It was the older style lettering on
Good spot. I've
Incommunicado.
not seen that. Yeah, nice one.
It was the older lettering used on that, and then there was Sugar Mice is the first time that they actually used the newer lettering.
Craigipedia's in full effect there.
Craigie returns for
Craig,
one.
are these
doesn't-
Glorious.
It
Are these
doesn't
facts
forgive
correct,
your
or have you
100
been
errors in
eating?
the last 2 months, but that's good.
I wondered what that sound was, but it was clearly the zip on your anorak going all the way up to the top.
It doesn't really stand out of the image, does it? The new lettering, because it's not. I don't know. I think it's yellow, and it's kind of the typeface isn't coloured in either, so it doesn't stand out at all.
Yeah,
I like it. I got to be honest, I really like it.
I love the image. I think
Yeah.
the image is great, and I think
No, I like the logo as well. Actually quite liked what they did with that on the Sugar Mice sleeve. But hey ho,
I think the cocktail glass would have been a better image for the sleeve of the album,
Yeah.
because they did put it on some merch, didn't they? It was embroidered polos and things like that with it on. But
I don't remember that. Yeah.
no, there was. Okay,
If you
so
look, but if you look at the 7-inch single, the Marillion logo on that's slightly different again. That's a bit closer to the older one. This is why it's not all universal across the release.
no, it's the same. It's the same.
He says with all respect, savers though, all glaring at the cover like
Is it because one's close and one's far away?
No, it's not. I have to say, my 7-inch picture disc is a slightly darker image than the 12-inch.
I mean, I've got
mine
to
is.
really translate to a podcast talking about the size of typeface.
We've reached some kind of depth.
In your line of work, this is everyday discussion, isn't it?
Maybe you could describe it for the listeners what the typeface looks like.
For the viewers watching in black and white.
In 5.1, it's amazing. Amazing. All
No
right,
BBC radio for the deaf.
back to the music. Mr. Wood, what do you think of Sugar Mice?
Well, it's obviously brilliant.
Is it not epic?
No, I don't say that anymore. No, it's just brilliant, isn't it? But I just see all of them as part of an album track. I'm sort of, I guess I'm an album sort of person rather than a singles person, really, despite the fact we're on the singles show today.
I was going to say, we've invited you on 3 singles podcasts. So
You've got the wrong
thanks for
guy. You've got the wrong
You've
guy.
got the wrong memo.
But yeah, it's a brilliant track, isn't it? I was going to say when we get to the B-side, I like that one as well, but we'll maybe wait till you get to that.
We will. We'll come back to you in a minute. Mikey?
This, by a country mile, is my favourite Fish era Marillion song.
Brilliant.
And like what you said in the previous mini pod, the extended version just elevates it again. It is absolutely wonderful. And backed up with a B-side that should have been held back as a single, in my opinion. But I'll come to that. I'll come to that in a future pod.
Hang on. This is Lady Nina all over again, isn't it?
It's Lady Nina all over again, yeah. I just think
when Craig tells his stories that reoccur, we've got Hovis music. So what's your theme tune?
The Archers.
Yeah, I think you need to play the music from the Multiverse of Madness, probably, because I've always had this alternate Marillion timeline wibbly wobbly thing going on, which is like, what if this and if they'd done this? And I'm sure we've all thought it at certain points. But in as much as I think that Lady Nina should have been a single, I still stand by it. I believe Tucson should have been too, but I'll come to that in a future pod.
What do you think of the extended version then?
Yeah, it's bloody amazing.
It's strange because they've extended it at the beginning of the song, haven't they? Put an instrumental bit. Yeah. Fish does a couple of lines, and then there's an extended instrumental section.
Yeah, I love it.
It's great. It's great. Craig, what do you think?
It is by far my favourite Fish era single of all of the singles.
Yeah.
I love the song, loved it then, love it now. And this in my humble personal opinion, should have been Marillion's biggest hit with Fish by far, because it's just the most powerful song. You know, lyrically, thematically, everything. And that guitar solo in it as well is just punch of the air kind of. Yeah, it's by far one of others all-time best solos, and I just love the structure of the song, the way that goes. I just love it, love it, love it. Always have.
Oh, can I just interject? Because
Go for
I've
it.
written something down and I've forgotten I've written it down.
Was it in crayon?
This isn't a this is not me disparaging yet again, but the solo of this reminds me of the guitar solo in Pink Floyd's Mother. I don't know whether it's the way, the tempo, or the feel of it, or the emotiveness I'm getting from the guitar. I don't know, but there's something about the guitar on Sugar Mice that does the same thing to me as the Pink Floyd Mother song does from the Wall.
Yeah.
Both are absolutely amazing.
They are. They're quite different to me, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. If it does that for you, that's brilliant. Martin?
Now that a couple of people have mentioned it, I think I could probably agree that it's my favourite Fish Era single. Yeah, I get that. The thing that I really love about this, I mean, I love the whole song. That goes without saying. But, and I've said this before when people have asked me about it, I think it's probably one of the most accessible lyrics that Fish wrote during the, his period in the band. By the time he got to Clutching, his lyrics had kind of, for want of a better expression, calmed down a wee bit in terms of the verbosity of it and the multi-layered imagery that was in pretty much every line. That kind of toned down a bit on Clutching as far as I was concerned, and I think Sugar Mice is probably the best example of it, because anybody that listens to Sugar Mice, or anybody that even just read the lyric to Sugar Mice, it's fairly evident what the themes are, and the kind of emotions that he's trying to convey in it. And I think he does it brilliantly. I've said before, and I've told the gaffer Steve this on more than one occasion. I said I think it's the perfect marriage of a fantastic piece of music and a fantastic lyric. There's nothing that you would even consider changing, not 1 second of it. You say, "Oh, I wish they'd have done that," or that bit could have been longer. I just think it's perfect as it is. Yeah, it's a real pinnacle.
I completely agree with everything you've said. I have to say, particularly on this track, I think Chris Kimsey's production is amazing. It's such a
Sparkles
powerful song, and it's just brilliant. And that's the original mix. I'm not talking about the remix that Avril and Andy did, which is great, but the original mix of this is just outstanding.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I really like the original mix on it. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay. On to the B-side then, Tucks On.
Can I just interject one thing?
Yeah, of course you can.
We do it? And I can be a little bit controversial on it, but when Fish went solo, I've never particularly enjoyed his interpretation of it live, because I just think it's very rinky-dink, almost acoustic-y, and it just loses so much of the power of it in the way that the versions that he's done of it live. And I think it's just a shame that he's never done a fairly, what you call, is like a straight version of it.
No, you're right.
Is that not about him taking it down a tone for his voice?
No, even on the when he played it, I'm pretty sure he played it in the Vigil tour when I saw him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played it on that, and the arrangement had been changed. And Craig's right; it was much more stripped back, and I would imagine at that point he was still singing it in the original key. So, but he did. You're right. He did kind of mess around with it a bit, and he has continued to tinker with it all the way through his solo career. And I agree with Craig. I don't think he's ever produced a live version of it. That
I'm sure we talked about it on Yin and Yang, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah.
And saying that, because the version that he's done on there is very much like the live version that he's done, and it's just, considering how beautiful an arrangement it is. And I know anybody, it's his song. He can do with it as he wishes, and he does. It's just I've not liked the version that he's done live. But anyway, that was my little diversion.
As ever, Craig, you're not helping our chances of getting the big man on the podcast.
Oh,
but
that's
there you
not going to
go.
happen. So there we go.
Thanks for that.
Do you know what? See, Craig talking about that and talking about the Fish's live versions of it. It's made me think of something else because there's the demo version of Sugar Mice, which, if I remember correctly, many years later they said that the demo version that they had of it was so good that they almost considered actually just using the demo on the album. They didn't in the end. They went away and re-recorded again. But I've got a funny feeling, and I haven't heard it for a long time, but the demo version of it, I think, is closer to the way Fish played it live when he went solo. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure we go back and listen to that demo version. It's not got all the the bells and whistles of the final studio version on it. I have a funny feeling it's a bit more, what's the word I'm going to use? Maybe slightly looser in the arrangement a wee bit. So maybe Fish decided that he preferred that in some level, and that's why he took it that way when he did it. His solo band. I could be talking absolute rubbish, and it won't be the first time.
I'm sure if you are, I'm sure that people will comment in the below. But
listen, I'm pretty sure that somebody will come up to me at one of my gigs and punch me in the face and say,
and
"What are you talking about,
I can ask one thing as a cherry on the top at the end of it. If Mr. H is listening to it, please, once, just for once, can you sing the whole fucking song and just don't expect the audience?
So we're not going to get either singer on the back on the podcast now, are we?
H sings it so beautifully, but if you try and find a version where he actually sings the whole bloody song,
Barnes, rescue me, say something.
Well, I've got more of an open question. Do you think the reason that a lot of people, well, everyone likes it, but it's so well liked is because it's the guitar, the sound of the guitar plus the words and not the vocal performance? No, I'm not saying at all, but the vocal performance it's almost a Toki song. You don't really sing that much. It's not, it's not a full voice song, though, is it? That's what I'm trying to say.
At times it is. It is, yeah.
Is it? Well, I don't know. I'm not the expert, but it's definitely
Let's ask somebody who sings it quite regularly.
I don't think we've got an expert in the room.
Yeah, let's get an expert in. Craig, what do you think about the vocal delivery? What I will say is I think I know what Barnes is getting at.
Like spoken word almost, isn't it? It's
wonderful. But I do think in terms of vocal melodies, I think it's one of the nicer ones that Fish put together for it. But I think he's been very he's really thought about it in terms of how he could complement what the music's doing, because there's a lot of Marillion songs where the song's doing hits thing and Fish is kind of doing something kind of slightly different against it. Now it works really well, but this one's, I think, it's a good example of where, as I said earlier on, it's the sort of perfect marriage of the great music and a great lyric, and I think the vocal delivery's really good at it as well. But I do know what you're getting at, Barnes. I know the point.
I think we all agree then, guys. I think we all agree.
It's a more standard arrangement, though, isn't it? It's the other Marillion songs.
Yeah. Structurally, it's a verse, a bridge, so on and so forth. But I mean, let's be honest, it lives and dies by that solo in the middle of it, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's epic, to coin a phrase.
It's epic. You're not wrong.
Before Derek sends us the email, I think he's amazing on this. So there you go.
No, yes, he says brilliant on it.
Tucks on.
Rubbish.
Brilliant.
Too many words.
No, I love it.
Well, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I think it's an absolutely amazing track. And as I said earlier, it should have been held back, should have been a single. I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. Ian's drums on it are amazing, and the guitar work's amazing. I think it's a shame to be tucked away on a single that didn't sell. Is where it is for me. I know it's had more like a day on besides themselves and other releases and so forth, and it's held a lot of esteem, I think, in fandom. And I was doing some YouTubey stuff today and came across the Steve Rothery band with Martin at vocals, singing Tucks On, and it was bloody stonking. It was. And I hadn't seen it before. So yeah, that was really, 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 really good to hear.
It's a shame
Thank
that
you.
they really never played it themselves as well. You know,
Yeah.
it's by far one of my favorite B-sides of theirs, and it's a really, really good song. It's
There
one
was
of Fisher's story kind of songs, isn't it? You know, it's
Well,
but
it's
you were
like
saying
it's almost like
about
a resignation statement in some ways. The lyric to Tucson, it's he's not hiding his light under a bushel on that at all. Lyrically, I know it's written in the sort of third person about someone else, but there's clearly a lot of similarities to, I think, things that he was feeling during that period as well. Interestingly, again, this is one of the ones where, if memory serves me right, the drums are a combination of programmed drum machine and some real drums on it as well. So you can hear what bits are what on it. So it's interesting from that perspective. There was a rumor for many years, by the way, I don't know if you know this, if it's common knowledge or not, that Steve Rothery did not like the song Tucson, which obviously was absolute bollocks, considering he went off and played it with his solo band, and said, and I quote, "I always really liked the solo on that." So there you are.
Fair enough. No, I'd not heard that, but that's cool. I think, seeing you do it with Simmerlin and with Rothers, it's great. It's a really up track. It's hard work for you because it's so verbose and so wordy, isn't it? Really, but
it's worth it though. It's worth it.
Great. I wish I knew the
Craig
lyrics.
Do you want me to recite them?
I'll say it before Craig says it.
It's all right. I'm singing it tomorrow night, so if I don't know them by now, then we're in real trouble.
Barnes will come up with some fact about the lyrics very shortly. I've no doubt.
I will actually. Yeah. We'll save it till I'm invited.
It's just currently updating Wikipedia now.
If it's half as good as the alternate lyric that we had for Incommunicado, then I can't wait. I can't wait.
I was going to say, though, independent to that, Well, I'll just say it. I think, with the exception of the release, it's their best B-side.
It's definitely right up there.
So it's definitely up there. That's what I like going
doesn't
under.
beat Lady Nina. Sorry.
Doesn't beat Bell in the Sea either, but
You're having a laugh.
No.
Really?
No.
I'm with John on this one. I've got to be honest. I think the Bell in the Sea is absolutely brilliant.
Really? I mean, what am I missing? I don't get it at all. That one.
Is it a bit too piratey for you? You've not got in touch with your inner pirate, have you?
Well, no, obviously not.
Anyway,
no, you're right. It is right up there with the best of the B-sides, I think. Yeah,
definitely. It is. It's probably on a par with Lady Nina for me.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Double A side, Mikey. That would have been good, wouldn't it?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh no. Just as bad. Something would have been on the B side. Oh no. What about the video for Sugar Mice?
This is a good one.
You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh, aren't you? That's a good one.
Well, consider they actually spent £2.50 on it rather than the usual £1.99. You know, it's all right. It's very kind of following the lyrics.
It's a literal translation.
It's very literal. Yeah. It's and it's not awful. It's the only one of the three videos that's just a straightforward video for the song, not a live versions intercut or anything like that.
I think I'd describe it as, when you do a karaoke, like them about 10 years ago, they put them videos up and it's like got nothing to do with anything. And you think, why have they put it up? I think we're in that sort of territory.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You've got Mark playing a barman again.
Say again.
Mr. Kelly's playing a barman again.
All right, yes.
Yes, this time.
Ian's dressed as a pilot, chatting some lady up at the bar.
Yeah.
Brothers is there in a leather jacket and dark shades.
Yeah, he's the archetypal cool rock star guy in it.
And then Pete's just sat there in a cap.
Yeah.
I know what Barnes' favourite part of this video is. I'm gonna call it. It's the bit when the band kind of rise up out of the bar, isn't it? It's your favourite bit.
Tries to put his hand through him. Yeah.
It's awful.
That's just this pure gold. That
The VFX budget was not too steep, was it?
It wasn't quite Industrial Light and Magic in the day, was it?
But yes. Anyway, anything else you want to say on Sugar Mice, guys?
So this
Well,
they went
I've
on.
got a note about the video. Hang on, Craig. I've got a note about the video here.
Yeah.
I was wondering why Fish was pining over his wife when I was looking at the photograph of her on the sideboard, and she's got a face like a smacked ass.
Oh,
It's no wonder
not
Daddy
Tammy,
took a
though, is
rain
it?
check.
It's not Tammy in the picture, so it's not. But anyway,
Sorry.
didn't come here for political correctness, folks, did you?
So
Craig, rescue this.
yes, the Top of the Pops they were on for this,
Yeah.
and also they were on the Roxy.
I was about to mention the Roxy.
right,
I remember the
They
Roxy
were-
performance very well.
Yeah, they were on the Roxy as well.
That was the ITV thing, wasn't it?
That was the
ITV's
ITV that lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
Their
'Cause
kind of
before
attempt
that-
at doing a Top of the Pops, wasn't it? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because before that, in '84, they were on, and we'll talk about that. They were on Razzmatazz, which was like the kiddie version that used to be on like the children's ITV at the time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Roxy was their way to try and compete against Top of the Pops, but it was more of a live vibe, like on a
That's right.
on a proper kind of venue stage and stuff like that. So that was the first of 2 appearances on the Roxy.
Okay.
There was a lot of dry ice on the Roxy appearances, if I remember correctly. There was a whole lot of dry ice being employed.
ITV probably had the budget.
Barnes,
So,
have you got any
Mikey-
bonus facts about this one?
I do actually, yeah. You might not have heard this one.
Okay.
It's about tattoos, this is.
Oh.
Right. There's a line from the song. I'm not going to ask you to guess it because you probably won't want to guess it. But this is a very, very popular tattoo among Marillion fandom. And it's the line, you can love someone, but they still let you down.
Oh dear. Okay.
The internet
Oh,
it must be true. Must be true. There it is.
That's why the Chinese got this AI dead
the
cheap.
Marillion lyrics on tattoos.
wow. Who knew? Who knew, eh?
Well,
Our friends in China we know about that one.
Okay, Mikey. What was around on the charts in this
yeah,
week?
come on, give us a chat rundown,
Come on.
Mike.
I'm looking forward to this
Well,
one, yeah.
Here we go.
One little factoid before I do.
Got some cream for
When it
that.
came in
haven't
at 33, what was that, Craig?
you got some cream for your
Carry on,
factoids.
just carry on.
When it came in at 33, it was actually the highest new entry in the charts that week.
Bloody
Oh,
hell.
that's a bit. Must
Yeah.
have had a fairly strong
Yeah.
chart then.
It
It
must have
did.
been.
I'm just going to give you the top 5 just to condense things down. At number 5, Heart with Alone.
Good track.
Oh,
At number
What a
4, at number 4, It's a Sin by Pet Shop Boys.
Never.
Brilliant.
At
Who?
Never heard
Brilliant.
of them. Never heard of them. At number 3, Always by Atlantic Star.
Power ballads, yep.
That one's passive, yeah. At number 2, Madonna with Who's That Girl?
Good
And
tune.
at
From the film.
number 1, yeah. Number 1 was La Bamba by Los Lobos.
Oh God.
Okay.
Wow.
It was all going so well there.
It was, yeah. Okay.
But there
Well,
was a lot of Stoddy Aikman and Waterman stuff floating around.
It would have been at that point,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
Kylie and Jason around about that time as well.
They were floating.
You say that the floaters, that's David.
what better way to end the podcast than with Kylie and Jason? You are listening
Beautiful.
to a
Especially for
brilliant
you.
podcast, honestly, folks. You've made it this far. Thanks for listening. We'd just like to thank Michael Kay,
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Barnsley Wood,
Thank you very much.
Martin Jakubski,
Cheers, everybody.
and my partner in crime, Craig.
Oh, no face yet today, remember?
Oh, sorry, Faye Gooston.
Thank you very much, young sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes. It's good night from me.
And it's good night from them.
Take care.
And stay alive. Hey. Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot,
for all the